Good evening, I'm Ronke Phillips and this is ITV News London. Drivers are now able to apply for payments to ditch their polluting vehicles ahead of the expansion of the ultra-low emission zone in August. Mayor Sadiq Khan has made £110 million available, but he's under pressure to add more money to the pot or postpone the expansion altogether. Our political correspondent Simon Harris reports.
London's car scrapyards aren't going to be short of customers. Sadiq Khan has set up a £110 million fund to encourage Londoners to crush older cars and vans before the new expanded ultra-low emission zone arrives in August. At Redcorns in Tottenham, they expect to be busy, but it's a double-edged sword.
We're doing about 700 cars a day as a business at the moment, expecting it to rise to around about 1,000 cars a day. We're going to see a lot of vehicles come in from that, which is good. On the flip side, we're expecting our parts department to be affected because people are not going to be repairing the older vehicles that they typically have in the past.
Under the new scrappage scheme, Londoners on some benefits can apply for £2,000 to scrap an old car or motorbike. Sole traders and firms with fewer than 10 employees can get £5,000 for a van or £7,000 for a minibus, or up to £9,500 if they also buy an electric vehicle as a replacement.
When we did the previous scheme that the Mayor paid for, we paid £61 million and we got 15,000 vehicles off the road, dirty vehicles, and that was around 2/3 cars and around 1/3 vans.
The proposed expansion of the ULEZ is controversial. Some outer London boroughs want it delayed because of the cost of living crisis, and there are calls for the scrappage scheme to be more generous. Last week, the London Assembly tried to force the Mayor's hand by amending his budget. They want him to put more money into the scrappage scheme. They called on the Mayor to stump up an additional £100 million using cash from a City Hall rainy day fund.
I think it would be very difficult for the Mayor to pull out and just leave money in reserves when Londoners need help to clean up their vehicles if they're to meet his August deadline.
But launching the scrappage scheme at a food charity in Enfield, the Mayor accused Assembly members of playing politics.
I'm quite clear that the £110 million I've announced today is the biggest scrappage scheme ever, which will help tens of thousands of Londoners make the transition.
But you're not prepared to double it?
I'm not prepared to listen to the Tories and not proceed with the ultra-low emissions zone. This scheme will save people's lives.
The Redemption Brewery in Tottenham employs 6 people and delivers its beer in an old van which doesn't meet emissions standards.
We would like to get a compliant van. Obviously, we've just come out of COVID. We're still recovering from COVID, so finances are tight. So anything that kind of helps us to make that transition is very welcome.
Eligible Londoners can apply for a grant from the scrappage scheme on TfL's website. Simon Harris, ITV News, Tottenham.
Metropolitan Police is appealing for information after the discovery of a fetus in a box outside Barnet Hospital. It's currently been treated as an unexplained death, but the force is urging the mother to come forward as there are concerns for her welfare. The family of a celebrity boxing coach who was stabbed to death are raising money to support his children. Rhys Newcombe was attacked with a piece of broken glass on Richmond Bridge in November, just days before his girlfriend found out she was pregnant. Carolyn Sims spoke to Rhys's brother and best friend about their campaign to help the family.
When Rhys Newcombe was stabbed and killed, he left behind a 7-month-old baby daughter. But what he will now never know is that he was to become a father for the second time. His partner, Alicia, found out she was pregnant after he died and shared the news at his funeral.
Some of the family are calling it a gift from God, which I can somewhat believe, but it's hard to... Normally when a baby's brought in to a family, you're all happy and the mum and dad are there. It's my duty now to try to fill the shoes of Rhys and look after the kids like they were my own.
What kind of a dad was Rhys?
Exciting, fun, and he was just a real good person. Yeah, and it's just a complete shock, to be honest.
His brother and best friend are now raising money to give both children the life Rhys would have wanted to provide for them. It has already reached over £120,000.
If I could say one last thing to him and say, we've got you, and we've all got you. The unborn, he's never going to see he or she ever. So many memories that Alicia's got to do now with her own. There's no words, really. That is Rhys now. That's all you've got left of Rhys, so they carry on as him.
Rhys was stabbed with a piece of glass on Richmond Bridge in the early hours of the 26th of November last year and died later in hospital. 32-year-old Ross Hamilton from Isleworth has been charged with his murder. Rhys was a well-known boxer in West London. He and his brother trained celebrities like former footballer Ian Wright at their family-run club.
Losing Rhys is not just like losing my brother. It's like losing a friend. It's like losing a teacher, someone I idolised. Yeah, just a complete legend in my eyes. That's what I would call him.
He will never meet his unborn child. His daughter will grow up without him. But Rhys's family want to make sure both are well cared for and proud of his memory. Carolyn Sim, ITV News, Feltham.
To football now, and West Ham have comfortably advanced into the 5th round of the FA Cup after a 2-0 win against Derby County. Goals by Jared Bowen and Mikel Antonio sent David Moyes' men through to face Manchester United at Old Trafford in March. And finally, 2 sets of brothers on a mission to raise awareness and save the planet. Seb Uburi and Sam Johnson are theoretically cycling over 20,000 kilometres, or pole to pole. Sally caught up with them as they entered the final straight.
Ready, steady, go!
When they started this challenge a year ago, it was daylight and they were excited. 363 days later, on a cold, dark January morning, the novelty has slightly worn off.
What's been the best thing and what's been the worst thing?
The worst thing has been the early mornings.
Yeah.
Still finding a best thing.
But still mustering a smile, young Sam and Seb and their poor recruited brothers haven't stopped. They've cycled almost every day from the North Pole to the South Pole in St Albans, covering 20,000 kilometres.
Seb and Sam, you've been cycling for nearly a year. How are you going to feel on Wednesday?
Absolutely delighted.
They're doing it to help the planet by raising money for the World Land Trust and so far have £10,000. But when Seb and Sam came up with the idea, their parents were having none of it.
I just said no way, quite honestly.
Yet it seems the boys have powers of persuasion.
I said, what would be better? Doing this, but if we fail, we'll still get a bit of money for the World Land Trust, or sitting on a couch watching TV.
And your mum fell for that, did she?
Yeah, pretty much.
As dawn broke this morning, I thought I'd test out some of the realities of this challenge.
How comfy is this seat?
It's all right.
Can I try it? You're nearly the same height as me. Oh, no! That's not comfy!
But, like Goldilocks, I did eventually find a better one. Well, sort of.
Woo! Where are the brakes? There's no brakes! Ow! I'm going quite fast.
Well, that's one less person to worry about. Meanwhile, the boys had a special message from Chris Packham, the TV presenter and World Land Trust ambassador.
You're absolute heroes, and it's fantastic. Now, you've cycled to the South Pole. What about cycling to the moon next? Just an idea.
Cue hands-on faces at the very thought. They finish this challenge on Wednesday when a lie-in and a lie-down will be well earned. Sally Williams, ITV News, St Albans.
Oh, well done them. Sally's back now with the latest weather forecast.
ITV London weekday weather is sponsored by Octopus Electric Vehicles. Car, charger and energy.
Hello, a very good evening to you. Monday's nearly through. I hope it's been a good start to the week for you. A stunning, fiery sunrise this morning across the capital in parts. Now, for the weather this week, it's going to be bright and breezy at times. There's still a fair bit of cloud around, pretty dry, although tomorrow we could just get a little bit of patchy rain. And as you're probably noticing, it's slightly less chilly than it has been, just the breeze slightly taking the edge off things. So tonight, with clear skies out there initially, the temperatures will be chilly, but we've got a bit more cloud moving in by dawn, and so most of us will avoid a frost tomorrow. Still quite a cold start though, down to the low single figures. As we go through tomorrow, increasing amounts of cloud heading our way. This is a front sinking south. You can see just the odd little bit of rain on it, but it's mostly coming in the form of thickening cloud. A bit breezy as it comes through as well, but the breeze easing a touch into the afternoon, and that cloud starting to break up a little bit as the day and the afternoon goes on. And our temperatures just a touch higher tomorrow, highs of 9 to 12 degrees in those sheltered spots. If you've got plans for the evening, it's staying dry with clear spells. Our sunset isn't until 4:45. The outlook, as I said, high pressure in charge, settled, a bit of sunshine around, and our temperatures not too bad. Take care. I'll see you later. Good night. Sleep well.
ITV London weekday weather is sponsored by Octopus Electric Vehicles.
And that's it from us. We're back on air tomorrow morning just after 6 a.m. Have a good night.